Steven Spielberg, one of the all-time greatest filmmakers, with many timeless, iconic classics under his belt, including Indiana Jones, Jaws, and Jurassic Park. Yet despite being essentially the founder of the blockbuster genre, in 1993, Spielberg once again teamed up with his longtime colleague John Williams to create his most personal and important film. This wasn't Lost Treasure or A Rubber Shark or Dinosaurs. This was one of the greatest ever recipients of the Best Picture Oscar, and on top of that, an enormous dose of authentically horrifying nightmare fuel. So on that note, let's talk about Schindler's List, where as per all Nightmare Fuel episodes, there will be spoilers ahead. Adapted by Stephen Zalian from Thomas Keneally's 1982 novel Schindler's Ark, Spielberg set out to help shine a spotlight on a key figure during the Holocaust. Oskar Schindler was a German industrialist, a popular member of the Nazi Party, born in what is now the Czech Republic. In terms of an overview of the story, Schindler pulled many strings during the Holocaust to try and help the Jewish people. In the film, he's depicted as an attractive, gentlemanly figure who can light up a room, which he uses to his advantage in order to persuade key Nazi Party members to employ Jews for his newest business, a factory that produces enamelware for the war effort. He is able to get away with this by arguing the case that Jews are cheaper than Poles. His real motive, however, is to give his Jewish employees the chance to earn and trade physical items like pots and pans on the black market, and also to temporarily get them away from the ghettos. The ghettos offered extremely poor living conditions, and every room was crammed full of strangers, and the film depicts the movement of Polish Jews into the Krakow ghetto. However, the conditions, as I'll discuss a little bit later, only get worse. As Schindler's production continues, we get to see many Jewish people's experiences in the concentration camps, again which I'll discuss at a later point in the video. Ultimately, a crossroads is met where Schindler buys over 1,000 Jews for slave labour, which via policies and procedures he is able to protect from harm until the end of the war, where he flees as a war criminal. However, the Jewish people idolised Schindler for his efforts, despite feeling like he could have given up his materialistic fascinations and traded more prized possessions for more lives. That is a superbly acted scene by Liam Neeson, and it breaks my heart every time that despite his efforts, meaning thousands of descendants are alive today that could have otherwise never been alive, he still felt he hadn't done enough. Schindler is now buried in Jerusalem, and at the climax of the film we see the Schindler Jews and their actor counterparts placing stones upon his grave in thanks for what he did for them all. The list is life, but contextually, everything that led to the need for the list to be created is nothing short of unforgettable cinematic barbarism. I could name very few films that have emotionally smashed me as much as this one. By utilising black and white, Schindler's List was made with the intention of feeling like a documentary, as if you were looking at real footage. Honestly, I feel that. Schindler's List is perhaps Spielberg's most raw and unforgiving viewing experience, peppered with sudden gut punches that still to this day leave me gobsmacked. Without further ado, I'm going to break down several important moments of the film which display the hauntingly bleak nature of the world at this time and what the Jewish people endured in one of the darkest periods in history. The way the Jews are viewed in this film really is heartbreaking, with some initial shocking moments coming from a man's peyot being cut by German soldiers and a young girl continually shouting "Goodbye Jews" at those passing by. Right away, the Jewish people are viewed here as things, not as people. The sheer level of uncalled for disrespect towards the Jews here sets the tone for how as a people they were outcast and viewed as subordinate. But the first major moment in the film that really made my heart skip a beat shows the Jewish people as something even lower down than outcast and subordinate. They were disposable. An old man employed by Schindler's Jewish accountant Ishtak Stern wants to thank Schindler for giving him a job, making him an essential worker, and just giving him a chance. He's an extremely pleasant, happy man without a care in the world, who only wants to help and spread some happiness. That is, until a fleet of German soldiers spot his disability while shoveling snow, take him to an alley, and immediately shoot him in the head. A completely innocent and thankful human being full of of love doing the very best he can, is worthy of death. This moment highlights the sheer remorselessness of the Nazi regime, but also kickstarts a conveyor belt of similar moments that continue to shock. I feel like Spielberg's approach to numerous scenes like this throughout the movie presents the true power and menace of guns. It's the loud bangs of the shots themselves combined with the instantaneous death that echo the fragility of life, how easily it can be taken away from anyone of any age at any time. Further examples of this include after we are introduced to Amon Gert, who I'll touch upon here, but is an entire episode of nightmare fuel in himself for later down the line. While building a structure as part of a concentration camp, a Jewish worker states she is qualified in construction and offers some knowledge that can prevent the building from collapsing at a later time. If they carry on as they are, it will happen. Gert orders for the woman to be shot before immediately following her guidance. The fact that her knowledge was valuable and taken on board by Gert, but because he refuses to have arguments with the Jews, he gets rid of her. By only wanting to do her job properly and offer vital information, her reward is a bullet in the back of the head. It's completely ruthless and fully introduces you to Gert's broken moral compass. Seen later, while on his balcony overlooking the concentration camp, he opens fire on the workers down below for fun. Something so brutal and destructive and senseless, made to look so trivial, only amplifies how disgusting a person Gert was. More on him and the real life Gert in a later episode. I think most people would perhaps agree that by far the pinnacle section of Schindler's List in terms of terror, cruelty, and heinous inhumanity comes from the liquidation of the ghetto. Once the concentration camp is built, 2,000 Jews were transported from the ghetto to the camp. A further 2,000 never made it out the ghetto, and that is because of the orders to kill en masse. Honestly, some of the sights here are amongst cinema's most unforgettable scenes to me for all the wrong reasons. Moments in time captured like this, happening to people like this, should have never occurred. People of all ages are shot, whether it's direct or whether it's by shooting floorboards or furniture that they've resorted to hiding in for their lives. In one scene, a group of soldiers are more concerned with the playing of a piano in one of the rooms, whether it's Bach or Mozart being played, while the sounds and flashes of gunfire beam onto the walls outside. The fact these soldiers are taking a breather as if they're having a tiring shift at work and are more concerned about the piano while literally thousands of innocent Jews are being slaughtered around them, it's simply pitiless. It compares the Jews to cattle or insects being eradicated, life snuffed out for no other reason than it's what they've been told to do. Bodies piled up in the streets, no effective exit strategies, the frantic chaos of it all happening so quickly. But to cap off that entire segment comes with it a heartbreaking use of colour grading. The film is mostly black and white, despite colour at the start and end of the film and candlelight. However, a choice was made to use colour on one character in particular, a little girl running through the carnage of the ghetto wearing a red coat. Schindler spots the girl in red while overlooking the ghetto, and we track her wandering around while bloodshed is happening all around her. We follow her as she eventually finds her way to a room and hides under a bed. The next time we see her, she's lying dead on top of a pile of bodies on a cart. The first time I saw this, I couldn't fathom it. The depth of my gasp was indescribable. For Spielberg to highlight this one particular little girl, despite the countless Jews killed on screen, to make her stand out only for her to be recognizable when she's dead, adds a connection to the Jews. Schindler formed a connection with the girl in red when he laid eyes on her and paid attention to her, and reacted with heartbreak when he saw her corpse. The audience does the same. So many Jews in this film die without being connected to them as characters, but that isn't the point. You could pick out any person in this film. They all, in this film and in real life, meant something to someone. They all mattered. Yet to see piles of rotten bodies being exhumed and then via a conveyor belt cast onto a burning mountain of inflamed corpses combined with Williams's demonic score, it appears like hell. That's how I see this. This is hell on earth realized on film. But the entire world was hell to the Jews, not just the ghetto. Further moments of overheated people on crowded train carriages desperate for air and water, children being separated from their parents and having to run off and hide in ovens and latrines. The world was engulfed in a frenzy. One old man, a rabbi, only survives being executed by Goethe because the guns don't work. Even Stern, despite all his efforts and closeness to Schindler, still comes close to death on 2 occasions. Once when he's put on a train to be sent away by accident, another where his safety cannot be guaranteed and he finally shares a drink with Schindler. Doesn't matter how much or how little you contributed, how old or young you were, if you were a boy or a girl, how skilled or unskilled you were. It never mattered. The Jews were all valued as worthless and expendable, regardless of their qualities as human beings. Seeing people sent into Auschwitz, the most infamous concentration camp of all, visually experiencing what it was like to enter the shower rooms, which I can't show on screen now due to nudity, and to witness the ashes of the incinerated float down onto the next lot like snow. All of these moments are painful reminders of the 6 million Jews killed during the Holocaust. 6 million one-armed men shoveling snow, 6 million girls in red, with an identity and a purpose and a life ripped away from them needlessly. Watching Schindler's List is never easy, and hearing John Williams' score, which weaves the shared pain of the Jewish people into its instruments, fills me with sorrow. Please do let me know what you think of Schindler's List in the comments below, and thank you for watching this video. I'm Connor from Unleash the Ghouls, and we'll see you next time for another Nightmare Fuel. Cheers.